30 meters beneath the scorching sands of the Egyptian desert, a team of archaeologists is carefully exploring a newly unearthed burial complex. At the center of their focus lies a sealed stone sarcophagus that has remained untouched for over 2,600 years. Inside this ancient coffin may rest a mummy, one that could unveil long-lost secrets of life and death from ancient Egypt. The slightest mistake could risk the destruction of priceless knowledge. Leading this delicate operation is Dr. Ramadan Hussein, a renowned Egyptologist, supported by a skilled archaeological team. Together, they are working at one of Egypt's most significant active excavation sites. To uncover the mysteries hidden below, the team employs advanced laser scanning technology. This allows them to meticulously document the structure and layout of the site, both above and beneath the surface. The scans reveal a sprawling maze of shafts and passageways that stretch nearly 30 meters into the earth. These corridors lead to an ancient burial complex thousands of years old. At its core lies a vertical shaft, codenamed K24. 9 meters deep into the shaft, archaeologists uncover rows of mummies lying in tightly packed formations. At a depth of 17 meters, 10 mummies are arranged in 2 layers, stacked atop one another, utilizing every available inch of space. Even deeper, at 20 meters, 2 individuals, a man and his nephew, were buried beside the entrance to the southern wall. This particular chamber, at the very bottom of shaft K24, dates back to approximately 600 BCE and is filled with a multitude of mummies and deteriorating coffins. Most chambers in this underground world hold multiple burials, except one. This singular tomb stands out. Unlike the others, it contains only one individual, accompanied by a colossal stone sarcophagus, now relocated to a secure facility for study. Through careful analysis, scientists have uncovered the name of the person buried there. She was a woman named Tadiho, or possibly Tadehor. To learn more about her life and death, the team must now open the massive sarcophagus. They begin with a cautious attempt to lift the 5-ton lid by just a few centimeters, hoping to confirm the presence of a coffin or mummy inside. But the operation is extremely delicate and dangerous. Using an internal camera, Dr. Ramadan peers cautiously into the narrow opening. What he sees confirms his suspicions: a coffin. Its surface appears to bear faint inscriptions, possibly clues to the identity and status of the person within. If this coffin is indeed decorated, it would signal that Tadihor received an elite and ceremonious burial, affirming her significance in ancient Egyptian society. Preparations begin to remove the enormous stone lid covering Tadihor's coffin. The sarcophagus lid, weighing nearly 5 tons, must be slid out using steel rods and a carefully orchestrated system of rollers. However, tensions rise at the site as differing opinions emerge between site supervisor Amar and project engineer Eman.
Enough.
Eman proposes placing the rollers directly onto the edges of the stone.
We must follow
Amar, on the other hand, insists on honoring traditional methods, laying the rollers over wooden boards, as has been done for generations. After discussion, the team ultimately agrees to use the wooden board method, balancing respect for ancient wisdom with modern engineering. In the cramped outer corridor just outside Tadihor's tomb, the team lines up thick wooden planks. Their goal: to slide the massive 3-meter-long lid without incident. There's no room for error. A typical household car weighs 1 ton. This stone lid weighs the equivalent of 5 cars. In such a confined space, even the smallest mistake could spell disaster. With intense focus, the team begins to move the sarcophagus lid. Slowly, it shifts. This is the moment. After 2,600 years, someone is finally peering inside the sealed coffin. The Saqqara necropolis is revealing one of its deepest secrets. Despite the deliberate and elaborate nature of the burial, there's surprisingly little inside that clearly identifies Tadihor's rank or title. Yet the very fact that she was buried alone, with such care and effort, suggests she was no ordinary woman. Among the few surviving inscriptions, one detail stands out. Tadihor possessed independent wealth. In ancient Egypt, women could wield significant power. They could own property, choose whom to marry, divorce at will, distribute or deny inheritance, and actively participate in commerce. Compared to women in 1940s Europe or the United States, ancient Egyptian women like Tadihor enjoyed a level of autonomy that was astonishing for their time. But as they examined the interior, a major setback became clear. The wooden coffin itself had disintegrated into ash. To proceed, Dr. Ramadan and his team would now have to reconstruct the shape and structure of the coffin using advanced photogrammetry technology. But you know what? Dr. Ramadan remarks, "We're doing our job." Despite the disintegrated coffin, the team has now incorporated a photogrammetry-based 3D model of Tadihor's sarcophagus into their master map of the burial site. This high-resolution digital reconstruction will serve as a permanent and detailed record, an artifact of its own, preserving every nuance for future research. Ramadan soon returns to the site, focusing on the inscriptions carefully carved into the fragments of Tadihor's coffin. One symbol immediately captures his attention, a flat blue glyph with 3 dots beneath it, pronounced Te. Following it is the faded figure of a man, Ken, and finally, the outline of an owl, Mu. Together, these hieroglyphs form the name Tekenmu. Tekenmu was no ordinary name. In ancient Egyptian cosmology, Tekenmu was a demon, a gatekeeper at the threshold of the afterlife. To the Egyptians, inscribing such names on sacred objects like coffins wasn't merely decorative. It was spiritual technology. These inscriptions served as magical passes, granting the deceased access to eternity beyond death. Tadihor's journey, like that of all ancient Egyptians, was believed to continue long after her final breath. The path to the afterlife was not a peaceful walk. It was a perilous voyage, filled with daunting challenges. Each soul would have to confront and overcome supernatural obstacles, guarded by fierce demons like Tekenmu. To survive, the deceased needed specific knowledge, incantations, spells, and especially the names of these guardians. Knowing a demon's name meant possessing the power to control or bypass it. These names were not hidden. They were deliberately written on the walls of tombs or inscribed on the coffins themselves. The tombs of royalty, in particular, were filled with such inscriptions, sacred texts that made up what we now know as the Book of the Dead. This book wasn't a single volume, but a collection of spells, a sort of spiritual guidebook or manual for the soul's journey from the world of the living into the eternal realm of the divine king. Tadihor, though not a queen, was clearly a woman of high status. Her sarcophagus bore inscriptions that echoed the same sacred functions, linking her to the grave goods arranged around her in an elite burial ensemble designed to ensure her smooth and beautiful transition into the afterlife. Still, despite these extraordinary findings, many mysteries about Tadihor remain. Who was she? What role did she play in her society? And why was she buried alone in a chamber fit for nobility? There is only one way left to search for answers. The team must now examine Tadihor's body,